everyone, welcome to FCA Friday, and today, with it being the holiday season, I celebrate Christmas myself, but happy whatever you celebrate. Whatever your gift giving might be this winter solstice, I'm going to be showing you some what I call actual DIY projects, because on Pinterest, on Instagram, I see these DIYs, but then you go and you look into it and they have a special industry-only tool, or somebody who has a specific trained skill set in order to do this thing, or some kind of material that a normal person can't easily get a hold of, or it's mega expensive. DIYs to me are low budget and easy access, and anyone untrained first time around could actually potentially do, and the material and all that with it. So I'm going to show you some DIYs that I consider actual DIYs for Christmas presents. And the first one is a personalized, I know it's hard to see, oh here, I can do that. Personalized, what is this? Hangers. All you need is a wooden hanger, which you can get from Walmart, and they come in packs of 5, and they have actually a wooden piece here that I just pull out with my, by stepping on it. A pair of pliers, which you're gonna need to pull the little metal part out of here if you get the ones that I get. Some wire cutters, a hammer, nails, and some sort of galvanized wire, which you can get from most hardware stores or Lowe's, Walmart, any of those places, and then some paint and a paintbrush, nothing too super fancy, dropping stuff. And what you do is you take your galvanized wire, which is all of this stuff you could probably get for about $30, but you get to make multiples of them. You could make easily 5 names and 5 hangers and then have it left over for other projects. So there's lots of tutorials showing you how to make letters. Any ones that are difficult, I find S's and A's to be difficult. You just keep twisting them, but you just bend the wire to get whatever you need. And I like to mix print and written letters. Like I make my E's and L's in cursive style with just little basic twists. And then you can use your pliers, needle nose pliers, to shape whatever you need. And if you don't like the way it looks, you just twist it and undo it. There is a limit depending on how thin your wire is of how much you can twist it before it breaks off. And then you have wire cutters just to cut wherever you need it to go. But like I said, you just start off just making the shape of your letters, and you have to measure it out. I like to start from one end and tuck it in and then see where you want. You'll have to start earlier the longer the name, but I usually go to about here and then twist up, and then that's where I start making my letters, and then you make the name go across. It's easier to try and maintain one piece of wire with it, but if you ever find yourself in a situation, which I have, where I had to cut off an end of it, just take and line up the 2 places where you need it to go, and then just twist another wire around. I highly recommend doing that with the wire with your needle nose pliers. I'm sorry, I have a bit of a sore throat, that's why I keep swallowing and pausing, not to gross you out. And you just twist it around, and then it should hold fairly well. I haven't had any problems with it. I tend to just keep twisting and make a little curly-Q design until it holds. Then, if you're wondering what you need a hammer and nails for, it's because sometimes with the holes that come in the bottom of this is where I attach it, but sometimes they're not big enough And so you just stick your nail and your hammer in there just to make it more spacious. And obviously be careful with it. I usually hold it between my knees, or you can use a vise if you want. But if you're just in your room doing it, just hold it between your knees and give it a little hammer. It doesn't have to go all the way through. You're just making the indentation more pronounced. And then you attach the ends. I tend to put a little glue on the actual wire end first and then stick it in. And I use E6000 glue. You can use super glue, it works just as well. This is just personal preference, just because I find it easier to clean up, especially if it gets on my hand. And paint your wire first, or your hanger first, and you can put tape around the end here so you don't get paint on it. Or you can just hold it like this as you paint, and then hang it somewhere to dry, like on where it's not going to touch other things. And so once you have it painted and have the space made, you stick it in there, and then you have a personalized hanger. Again, nothing that's going to be too detrimental. Sorry, I'm taking a drink. To yourself. The next DIY that I'm going to show you is how to make somebody either a coaster or a candle holder. It can be anything you want it to be, but to DIY something like this is for my friend who wants some Saints stuff. You just take regular air drying clay, which you can get at Walmart. You can order the poly stuff on polymer clay from Amazon, or go to Hobby Lobby and pick some up. Really inexpensive. But if you get the air dry clay, or you can get baking clay, and you just roll it out. I use an empty Bath and Body Works candle holder, but you could use a cup or a bowl, whatever you have, and make sure that it's even. The only thing you have to worry about is making sure that things are even all the way around so that it actually sits flat, and if you're making more than one, that they're all the same, going to be the same depth. And then you sit there, you twist on there, leave it to dry. And if you're worried, like this is supposed to be a fleur-de-lis, I'm not the best artist in the world, but if you're worried about your particular skill with it, cheat like I do. You don't have to have any actual painting skill. Print off a picture from the computer and then put paint right onto the picture and then stick it down, and then you'll get either a pretty full outline around, and then you can fill it in and then decorate as you need to, or you can just paint the whole thing a different color with spray paint or whatever. I tend to use just the really cheap acrylic paints that you can get from any, again, any drugstore basically. And for the bottom, because you don't want it to scrape against anything, you just need, this is an old hoodie, or you can get pieces of felt or even an old blanket. If you have an old felt blanket running around, or a pair of sweatpants that you don't need. And again, just measure it out. Candle holder, this, draw around, and then cut it with some fabric scissors, and then use your E6000 glue to glue it on the bottom to help protect the person's surfaces. And that's what you need to do. And again, you can make as many of those as you want. It's really simple, really fast, and to me, they're actual DIY-able. You don't need to have artistic or precise skills. The materials are all like, a lot of people have needle nose pliers and hammers and markers around their house. The only things you might have to get additionally, or you probably will have to get additionally, are the wire, the hangers, and the clay, and maybe the paint, depending on what your painting situation is like. But that is my DIY gift ideas. I'm sorry that I'm feeling rushed. I hope that you enjoyed and have a merry holiday, whatever it is, and I will see you for either Vlogmas. You can check out the Vlogmases, I'll link them below, or for Makeup Monday and the next FCA Friday. Bye!